We're going to look at some gun disarms. Obviously, a gun disarm is a last choice option. And you're only going to do it if you really believe that the guy's going to kill you. Otherwise, there's no reason to attempt this because then you might get shot. So if they're telling you, if they're giving you options of how not to get shot, like give me your wallet, then give them your wallet. If they give me your car keys, give them your car keys. If it's, shut up and back up, shut up and back up. If it's getting your car, well, maybe not that one because you don't want them to move you to a secondary location. It's one of the rules, never let them take you anywhere. But if they're giving you simple options that you can comply with, that are going to prevent yourself from being shot, because now you know they want money or your car or something else of value, so you take the ring off and hand it to them, and then slowly back up and hopefully be able to take off without getting shot. If, however, the situation is obvious that he's more violent, he's unstable, he's saying, I'm going to blow your fucking brains out, and all these things, and he's got the gun in your face, and he's really aggressive, then you may want to try to take the gun away instead of getting shot, and see if you can prevent that from happening. So that's going to be an assessment of the particular situation. So for training purposes, we assume that it's escalated to that, and you really think that this guy's about to shoot you, so you figure, hey, why not give it a try? He's going to shoot me anyway, so I've got nothing to lose. So if Sandy's out here and he has the gun and he's just holding it at chest level single-handed, I have a few options here. One is I need to get offline, number one, okay, regardless of which direction I do it in. So I need to move my foot, get off the X, and redirect the firearm. I see some training where all they do is they get off the X and redirect the firearm and then grab onto the arm and start punching the guy. Meanwhile, he's sending rounds down there hitting grandma and kids and someone coming out of a grocery store and everything. So I don't like that. I want to control that firearm. And if I don't have control of the firearm and he happens to just break loose because he knows how to get out of a wrist grab, now he's shooting me again, as well as other innocents downrange. So if I'm going to do anything as I get offline, I'm not going to grab the arm and move the arm over. I'm going to attempt to grab the firearm and control it. So as a semi-automatic pistol, only one round is going to fire if I have control of this. Okay? Is it easy for him to pull it back out of my hand? If I'm sweaty or nervous or anything, potentially yes. So I'm not just grabbing the firearm. This is a whole sequence of movements, but that's my first part. Grab the firearm, get offline, and then I'm coming back in to the inside of the arm where all the tendons are, which loosens the grip. Okay, so if you make a fist and smash your own tendons here, your fingers tend to pop open a little bit. So it loosens the grip just ever so slightly on the pistol and gives you a better chance of rotating it. He has the leverage of the handle. I have the leverage of the entire barrel, okay, the entire slide. So even if we just do a little struggle thing here, without anything else happening, I have leverage over him. If I come in here and I strike, and I bend that wrist and I strike his fingers and open that grip a little bit, now I have a good solid grip on the longer lever. He has a weakened grip on the shorter lever, so I have a better chance of getting that control of that. You'll notice that the barrel's coming back toward him, not toward me, so if it needs to go, if it needs to fire, then it can shoot now, all right, but not while it's facing me. As I'm coming in here, I'm going to leave my hand on the wrist because I'm going to use that to help me strip the gun as I step back. Now I have control of this firearm, and in a little bit we're going to talk about what do I do with this once I take it from the person. Is it a usable firearm? Is it functioning? Is it loaded? I don't know. So we're going to go through those options. Okay? So that's takeaway number one. Moving off to the side, preferably to the outside, striking to the inside of the arm, stripping down, stepping back, and now taking control of the gun. Option number two, we'll go through these one at a time in class. Option number two is now the gun's up a little bit higher, so it's a little difficult for me to reach up and do this motion, but it's really easy for me to come underneath. So I'm gonna take my thumbs, I'm gonna cross over the full web of my hand so I have a nice V here that goes up under the barrel. So as I'm ducking and getting my head out of the way, this V is coming up and I'm wrapping both hands around the firearm. And then I'm driving in toward him and bringing the gun back to my own belly button. So I'm making a nice big arc with it. So again, from here, I'm stepping in and bending his arm, driving in. I could drive in and strike him with it, maybe, depending on how his arm claps, and then stripping back underneath. Now again, I take control and figure out what I'm going to do with this. Okay, so that's the second one we'll work on. And then the third one we're going to work on is from behind. Wherever the firearm is touching is where I want about mid-forearm, because I'm going to have to spin and do a rotation on this one. So I feel where it is. I'm like, oh man, don't shoot, please don't shoot. What do you need? What do you need? You want my car? You know, and so you pull the car keys out and drop them, distract them, do whatever you need to do. So on this one, I'm coming around and I'm guiding the firearm away from me and going to grab the wrist. So the first question is going to be, well, what if he pulls it back right away? So as I'm coming around, if he pulls it back right away, then I'm going to jam it into him and I'm going to go into something different. So it's not like, oh, he's just holding it out there. I have an option for that and jamming it in and controlling the firearm and then going into something else. For right now, though, let's just say he's not, that fast, and I catch him off guard, so the arm stays out. So I'm coming around, grabbing, coming over top, and immediately going to grab the firearm. Now I have control of his arm and an arm bar here against my chest to straighten this out, and then turn back in, and there's my disarm. Again, I have the longer lever. He has the short one on the handle. And as I come back in here, I'm turning back into him, and there's my takeaway. Now you'll notice here, I moved right into a nice wrist lock. And I have my forearm in his elbow with his elbow bent. I could just continue through, take him right to the ground, leave him down there as I come up and figure out what I'm going to do with the gun. So that's one option. I could continue and get him all the way to the ground. So those are the three takeaways that we're going to work on. Starting with the first one, move it to the side, smash here, pull back. Okay, so just play with those.